I appreciate you for being here. Not sure how long tonight's video is going to go, but for now, I said, you know what? Let me share something educational on this day. If you weren't able to receive anything of benefit from my previous live video today with making dinner, and then the video before that through Forza Horizon, and that was through their Event Lab platform. Believe it or not, that does connect to this, and I will explain in a moment why. So there is such a thing for the title of this video called vertical and horizontal learning. Vertical and horizontal learning, in this case, is how do you read between the vertical and horizontal lines. Similar to what is called the laptop concept I have on another video. It's how do we perceive this information? And I didn't think about this until one day I was subbing for math and just thinking about the perception of how we take in information. And it's so easy to dismiss how a perception can influence perspective. That's why this right here is vertical learning, where a book that is horizontal on a table, which is a horizontal flat surface, and just like this is a vertical flat surface. Yet somehow, some way, we take in information and their unique perspectives. So let's get going. With the vertical, what I realize is when kids are laying out, when equations are laid out horizontally, kids are forced to think in a way where it may not look like you have to carry the one on behalf of this and just form whatever the number is going to be. Whereas in vertical learning, what that permits is, 9 and 5 is 14. It's 4, carry the 1, 2, 3, 34. Over here, it's kind of up to you to figure out, well, there's a few different ways, well, however you put it together, but I'll give you two. So you have that of 19 plus 5, which is 24 plus 10, which is 34, or you can count the 10 and the 10 out of the 19 and the 15, make that 20, and then 9 and 5 is 14, 14 and 20 is 34. So there's a few different ways in which you can go about it, but ultimately it's about laying out whatever the obstacle is in front of you, like an equation. So then it's easier to decipher what your variables are going to be. When you can decipher what your variables are going to be, it is far easier to figure out whatever it is you got to attend to ahead. And why does that matter? It's the concept of us setting ourselves up for success. And the best way to make progress in our goals is through those micro steps we make along the way. That's just one example. I provide some more just in the context of how we take in information. There's a lot of good content that I have gained from substitute teaching, and how if it wasn't for my attendance, students wouldn't receive certain messages, and how if it wasn't for their attendance, then there would have been no class to profess these messages or learn about some of these things along the way. Because even though they're a fraction of my age, is the concept that they are the future. Without them, there is no future. So within the confines of a place that promotes education, it's how do we both learn something from that? As you notice, this is horizontal parallel lines, and these are vertical parallel lines. And really what this aligns to is who you are as today, and then who you are trying to be onwards into tomorrow. Similar to a video I had shared with going up the steps, it's only fair for us to give ourselves a chance. And the best way for us to give ourselves a chance is how we make use of today. That's how we advance into tomorrow. So while the sun is still up, may you enjoy it as much as you can, and may you afford the opportunity to embrace tomorrow as it was today. I appreciate you guys for being here. And hey, oh, hello everybody. I didn't see the chat, but I appreciate you guys for being here. As I was saying, reading between the vertical and horizontal lines. Why is that important? Well, it's how we're taking in information. There's so many different ways in which we take in information. It's just the concept of, even though there is nothing on even though there's nothing on this, it's the concept that technically you are taking in information as I speak. Whether you're seeing the board, whether you're hearing my voice, it's the fact that because you're taking in so much information at once, it's how are you simultaneously processing it, which is an opportunity in which I shared with students about why you don't want to blast music when you have a long day and it's at the start. It's so easy for us to overstimulate ourselves, aka the eyes are the windows to the soul. So when we overstimulate ourselves at the start of the day, when it comes to the interactions throughout the day, it's easy to have a headache. And if you have a headache, there's a high probability you're not going to want to talk to others. Not because of whatever is going on in that day, it's just the concept of how easy it is for us to overstimulate ourselves. Sometimes this brings awareness for naps. Just giving your eyes a chance to rest. Since we're talking about giving ourselves a chance to rest, a coping mechanism that has come to me that I did not entirely know prior until using it on myself, for myself, was it's a coping mechanism whenever you're trying to fall asleep. Not saying you're going to get 100% success rate the first time you try this, but it's the fact that you actually give yourself a chance, at least if you find yourself struggling to fall asleep. And I say this coming on behalf of dealing with multiple arguments before bed, and yet to them it didn't seem like anything, but to me it almost seemed impossible to go to sleep. So what I would do is, as I would turn over and face in the opposite direction of them, I would just look out, and then as I gradually just gaze my eyes to the left and right of the room, eventually my eyes start to close. And then while my eyes are closed, if I find myself not being able to get or think past what was previously spoken of prior, then in a few minutes I'd open my eyes, and then I would look around just to kind of get my mind out of that initial thought. And then I would try it again, and then close my eyes for a few minutes, and then I would see how things were. If things continue to come back in a few minutes, I would open my eyes. But after a few attempts, you gradually make the necessary progress. So when you do close your eyes and you go to sleep, it is easier for you to make that switch rather than you staying in bed with your eyes closed, yet your mind feels awake the entire time. And then when it's time for you to get up, you're not going to want to get up because you're restless on behalf of not getting the rest that you needed that night. It does happen. And although I don't wish it on others, the best way for us to reduce it is to be more aware of what brings us up in life and what brings us down. And the sooner we're aware of that, the less mistakes we are willing to make moving forward on behalf of what we're learning from the past. So, with a blank board here, it's only fair for me to share why life is worth an honest effort. While a coping mechanism could be one, people setting themselves up for success and reducing future headaches is another. And I look forward to sharing more with you down the road. Till then, you stay well.